He said, it's my 36th birthday. I get to the show when I can, kind of hard. I'm an investment banker. I let the Kendrick album marinate. And here's the problem. It's actually the album you drop after the album you're supposed to drop comes back from a 5-year hiatus.
Hold on,
Hold on,
Mike.
hold on.
No,
Let me read that sentence again. He said, it's actually the album you drop after the album you're supposed to drop coming back from a 5-year hiatus. I agree with that. Happy birthday to you, 007 out there. Shout out to all the investment bankers that are in the chat as well. Go
right.
ahead,
So
Coop. What were you going to say?
no, I don't know if you remember this because it happened to be your birthday. But one of the first comments that I made about this album before we left was, why didn't he call Dr. Dre first and then go make an album like this? So I'm right there with 007 because this album would have played so much better to the audience, in my opinion, if he just would have given us our hip hop fix first and then went and did this. So, like, spot on for 007. I echo those sentiments totally. Happy 36. And, keep a brother up to date with these Google splits and some of this other stuff going on.
Yeah, we're going to holler at you offline.
Yeah, I'm going to shoot you a mind player. We need to talk.
You know what? It's crazy, man. I do understand and I feel that. And I think I said that originally where it was like, this is a dope album, but it doesn't take a 5-year break to put out an album like this. Maybe it did for him as far as like a life living thing. And so maybe that's the only excuse that I'm giving him because maybe he wouldn't have been able to express these experiences 2 years ago, right? I think even the family building and him building a family kind of gave you a window into, okay, why the 5-year hiatus?
No, it's different when you have kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. I was just other podcasts that I do, both me and Andrew were talking about how, like, well, you miss hip hop for a little bit when, like, your kid's born, or just music in general, like for about a year and a half at least, because you had a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had a pandemic to deal with too. I mean, we all did, but
No. I'm sorry. Like, rich and wealthy people didn't have shit to deal with in a pandemic. Next. Yeah, ain't nobody trying to hear that. That's
Shout out to
crazy.
Mad Max with the super chat. He says, excuses, Braun in his second appearance. Oh, he's talking about the finals. Excuses. Braun in his second appearance had a super team and had the biggest choke against the Mavs, getting cooked by Jason Terry and locked by J.J. Barrett. Steph never went out that bad. Now, all right. This is what I want to say about this Mavericks and Heat finals. The first time that the Heat made it to the finals, they pieced that team together. That Heat team, all they had was really that starting lineup. That Mavericks team, and you could go back to my Facebook. I'll save the screenshot. I said it before the series started. I said I got the Mavs in this series. They were too deep in every position. In some of the positions, 3 deep. They had bodies to throw on them. They had a lot of people on that team, bro. Like, they had a whole starting lineup. They were big with Chandler at center. They had Dirk, obviously. They had Jason Kidd, Jason Terry, J.J. Barrera. They had Peja Stojakovic. I want to say they had like Turkoglu. They had a whole bunch of folks on that team. And after a while, 3 people just aren't going to beat that many skilled individuals. It's just not going to happen. And that same team beat up on the Lakers, too. That was another thing that made me be like, yo, this team
No,
is deep.
first of all, they're not like that team. They had a squad. That is gonna be forever the knock on LeBron's legacy because I actually hate to be the one to break it to you, Mike. Those 3 guys actually could have beat those Mavericks team, and only 2 of those 3 guys showed up. And unfortunately, the one guy who didn't show up was the guy who needed to show up the most when it mattered the most. Because if you actually go back and look at those finals, no, Bosh and Wade actually did what they were supposed to do for like who they were. Like, Wade averaged like almost 28 points a game in that finals. I think people forget that he like actually like played great in that finals because they kept on losing, but it wasn't his team at that point, and it was like LeBron didn't know what to do in that moment, and it's really sad. It's his fault. Those 3 guys actually could have beat them. If he does what he's supposed to do, they win that finals because like Wade and Bosh did their job. No. It's cool. We're gonna get back to the rap shit though. What do y'all want to cover first? The Che Noir or the Boldy? Yeah, Prime Wade is a savage. How about this? I think the Harden and Wade talk is over, isn't it? We over this Harden Wade talk, right? Like we're clear that it's like Mike, Kobe, Wade. In fact, we can go Jerry West. We're putting Harden down to 5, putting the logo ahead of you. You haven't won.
Well, hold on. I want to go back to Busta Rhymes real quick. I know we kind of got off course a little bit, and then we'll go into the Shea
It was like Prime Wade was a savage. It's like damn right he was going to end all this like Harden and Wade talk. Slide you right back down to 5 or 6 where you belong on the shooting guard scale. Goes Mike, Kobe, Wade.
Mike, Kobe, Wade. Okay. Wade was pretty great, I must admit. Jay Short says that I feel like Kendrick needs to drop a Gangsta Grill mixtape, Black Hippie next year, or risk losing a lot of his hip hop audience. Okay.
You understand that people thought Nas sold out when he made It Was Written after Illmatic. Like that's how the climate used to be for you as an artist, where it's like, no, you couldn't take these kind of risks. That's why I said he has the type of creative license that we've never seen before. Because other great artists weren't allowed to like pivot like this, like ever.
He has the creative license that Steph has from the 3-point line.
Yes.
He has a green light to do whatever, and people will accept it.
Yes. He has the green light that happens like when you're the point guard for a team and Mike D'Antoni is your coach. It's like you can do whatever you want.
You can shoot wherever you want from.
Yeah, you can do it in 3 seconds if you feel like you dribble, shoot. You like that? That was from 70 feet away. It's a good shot. Get back on me.
Well, this is the thing. I know I was looking through some of the comments from our episode Wednesday where we named 11 MCs that we put ahead of Kendrick. And there were a few people that didn't agree with some of the people we had on the list. And honestly, I knew that the LL thing was going to be an issue for people.
It need not be.
Well, it is. And I agree with this whole Gangsta Grill notion, or, bring it back to this hip hop shit notion, because at the end of the day, I'm pulling up the list right now. I think that from the people that we name, and I'm just going to this is just my perspective. I don't agree with this specifically, but from the people that we named Tupac, Biggie, Nas, Jay, Rakim, Ice Cube, Ghostface, Scarface, KRS-One, LL, and Common. I think from a mainstream level, people are going to say that Kendrick's better than Common. People are going to say Kendrick's better than LL, KRS, Scarface, and Ghostface, and Ice Cube, which will put him at 6.
Okay, but what I keep saying is that, well,
hipster bias is what LP says. Kendrick's taking Tyler and Kanye's hipster fan base.
Here's gonna be my rebuttal to that is that, okay, now you're right. But isn't he in this conversation about his album making ability?
Yeah.
And we're about to slide him right back down behind those people because he fell behind those people because they make better songs and we're starting to find out albums. Like, you want to know what was striking to me that I forgot about? Like, there's no way that you can put him ahead of KRS-One when I just read that BDP discography.
No.
And solo discography. No. Whatever you feel
KRS-One
about how great his
tough.
discography is, right, whatever you feel about Kendrick's discography, you cannot look at KRS-One's discography and tell me that Kendrick has a better discography. No.
KRS got that versatility too.
You can't look at Scarface's discography and tell me that Kendrick has a better discography, or Ghostface, or Ice Cube. And so if the best thing that he does, we have other guys who do it better, and what you're giving me is that he's a mainstream artist, I'm like, oh, these guys got more hits than him too, even though he is the bigger mainstream artist. He's just more popular. Being more popular doesn't make you better than these guys. It just makes you more popular.
You don't think he can out-rap these guys?
I think Lupe can out-rap all these guys, and he's not in this conversation.
Okay. That's a fair point. Bob T says, Mike and Coop, y'all need to start a sports channel. 007 with the super chat, he says, he needs a Flame Spitter album. Destroy everyone. He does.
He doesn't have that in him. Don't you realize that? We would have seen that type of killer in him by now. That's what I mean. That's why I was like, no.
But that's what he sold us on the Control verse.
That's what I keep trying to say is that we kind of been sold a dream because we kind of got sold like he was like the new microphone fiend, like in the vein of like a Rakim, a Nas, a Black Thought, a Cannabis, a Big Fun, a Big Pun. No, he's not that. There's none of that going on. Have you heard Black Thought on No Gold Teeth?
Black Thought's a problem. And honestly, if we wanna sit here and judge people's all-time greatness on microphone spitting ability, this guy should jump ahead of a few people.
I mean, if we're
gonna talk it like that, you know what I'm saying?
If we're talking spitting ability, he's separate.
Because let's be real, and I love LL Cool J, and you know how I feel about LL Cool J. I think that his legacy gets slept on all the time. He gets overlooked. I even read some articles where people were talking about Eminem's going to be the second solo rapper alive to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like, they just don't even consider LL, which is so disrespectful. But with all that being said, if you ask me who's the better rapper or MC between Black Thought and LL Cool J, I can't sit here and say that LL Cool J is going to out-rap Black Thought. I just can't do that with a clear conscience.
It's not a conversation.
It's not. And I don't even want to single out LL. If you do the same thing when it comes to, say, Jigga and Nas. If we're sitting there at a table, and Method Man was my favorite rapper growing up.
I was about to say Method Man.
No. I seen them sitting there together on Sway, and I knew it wasn't going to be good for my man Meth. And I'm a Method Man fan to the heart. I'm a way bigger Method Man fan than I am a Black Thought fan. But I just knew, like, yo, he can't outspit this guy. I don't think there's anybody walking right now that could outspit Black Thought. And I'm just being honest.
I'm going to keep on saying this. That Method Man Black Thought cipher is an example of what a top 10-ish all-time MC looks like and what the guy who can hold the number one position looks like. That's what it looks like.
I personally think Black Thought would have done that to anybody, though, Coop. I think anybody who's not named Rakim.
No, that's what I mean. No, Meth is a top 10 type of MC. That's what it looks like when you're a number one type of MC.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's number one all-time MCing type of stuff that he does. And as far as like that rapidy rap stuff going, yes, like Rakim would probably be the place to go because he lyrically is on par with what the standard would be more than Nas is. Nas veers off the standard more. Like what you're hearing Nas do on Magic, he hasn't done in a very long time. Like Godson's Stillmatic, okay?
Right.
So what makes King's Disease 2 great, and what makes Life is Good great, isn't about the lyricism.
Right.
Necessarily. The lyricism is accentuated, not the focal point. When Black Thought's coming through, the lyricism is the focal point a la Rakim, even on the Roots album. And I was even thinking, I wasn't even how certain about putting Kendrick ahead of Thought, just when I think about how classic the Roots shit is, because it's like, I'm thinking like, no, the Roots got as many classics as Kendrick got, and he's the front man. And I know he can out-rap Kendrick. I ain't even worried about that.
Ryan Gillum with the Super Chat said Kendrick needs a 5-track EP produced by The Alchemist called Smoking on Your Top 5, since he want to talk about smoking on your top 5. I think that's a good idea.
I like that idea.
I know Kendrick's probably watching the show, or some of his people are probably watching the show. I think it's a good idea.
I mean, Apple's probably going to steal it and make it for him anyway.
Mad Max with the Super Chat says, LOL, people do gas K-Dot. His accolades overall is the same as Drake and Cole. Drake has all the hits accolades, while Kendrick's albums. Cole has the features and the verses. They all do their own individual things. You know, I think in the next era, we're going to have a Voltron MC that comes and does all of those things.
We've already had those MCs. That's why
we've had those.
High.
Yeah.
We've had those. That's what I'm saying. That's why those guys aren't as high as maybe you think they should be. It's because, we got that already.
Yeah. Mannan says KRS has 20 albums. Is 20 albums deep. Leader, teacher, scholar, bars. It's very tough for me. Like, I can't even put Black Thought ahead of KRS.
No, not
I can't do it.
Like, I was when we started going through KRS's stuff, I was actually thinking it's like Why do I have Ghostface, Scarface, and Ice Cube ahead of KRS?
I don't. I like them better. That's my
I'm like,
personal
no,
preference.
that's what
But
I
yeah,
mean.
if we're talking about really breaking it down, nah.
Right. And so, like, when I thought about it, it's like, no, I got KRS at 9. It's like, no, I need to slide Ghost and Scarface and Cube back down. You feel me? And
Yeah.
put him like at like 6, right after like Pac and Big and Jay, like right after Jay. I would have to put him right after Jay. So
I
KRS
mean,
One
look,
would
I'm gonna be
actually be 6.
truthfully honest, Coop. I would slide Big back, to be honest.
I'm
And you know
cool
how,
sliding.
I mean, just based on the catalog, you know what I mean? I just have to.
I'm cool if you want to slide Big back, but I'm not sliding him out of the top 10 because I thought about that too. Because at least Tupac has enough catalog to be in the top 5 conversation.
Yeah, I can't sit here and say that I'm gonna put Big over KRS. It's hard to
But
say.
it's just like Biggie's better than all of these guys except lyrically, like at
No, I know.
everything.
And listen, and like you
Problem.
said last show, if Big would have lived and been on this same trajectory, he would have been the greatest rapper ever.
It's not even a conversation. It's not a conversation.
I think Tupac is the conversation, and Nas, obviously, you know, and Jay. Well, see, the thing is, I'll get into the Jay thing in a second. 007 with another super chat. He says, "We are past the point of saying that Kendrick is a rapper. He's an artist. If you know what I mean, he shifts the culture, creates great projects, but he's not the one." All those compliments and said he's not the one. He shifts the culture. How does Kendrick actually shift the culture? Or does Kendrick shift the culture for the week that he drops and then everybody kind of goes back to what they're doing?
No, I think he's had a pulse on the culture at an important time where nobody else in the hip hop realm really did outside of him and Cole. And so he stuck to people because of that. But that was 5 years ago. How is it sticking to you now? I'm not saying that like in a shady way. Like I'm saying that in a formulating a question that I really don't have a clear-cut answer to myself.
Big over LL?
Yeah.
Now, I've always said about that one, it was very tough for me to do because of just the catalog and the depth of LL's catalog and how early he came on and how groundbreaking he was early on in the primitive culture, in the primitive genre, rather. And he kept going and did it over decade. And I don't have any doubt that Big would have been able to do that, but he didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? I can't give points to something that never happened.
No, I get it. Biggie's the best song maker ever in hip hop history. I want people to understand that.
Like, you think so? Better than Pac?
Yeah, see, like LL can be a better hit maker, but nobody's been a better song maker than Biggie. Not a better song maker, not song for song.
What are your examples?
Huh?
What are your examples on that?
I mean, okay, so my examples are okay, so let's go to the beginning of Ready to Die. Like, Things Done Change, Gimme the Loot, Machine Gun Funk, Warning. They all make you feel different things at different times without him going into depth because his quality of song making is so strong, even early on. He hasn't even like hit you heavy yet. He's kind of like hitting you with little jabs on Things Done Change. Gimme the Loot is probably one of the most underrated mic performances ever on the mic. Like, nobody talks about the mic performance on Gimme the Loot. That's a brilliant mic performance that he's giving off. He's literally doing a heist in dual voices. Literally, you know?
This is kind of what I'm taking from what you're saying.
No, LL can't do that. LL can't do
No, you're right. This is what I'm taking from what you're saying. Big could do what Scarface was doing. Yeah. Big could do what LL was doing. Tupac. Big could do what Tupac was doing. Big could do what DMX was doing, even though DMX is after him. But Give Me the Loot is some, stop being greedy. Like, Big could do everything.
Right.
And obviously, Big could do what Jay-Z was doing because Jay-Z ended up doing what Big was doing.
Right. The only thing that Big couldn't do was that stuff that like Rakim does on Follow the Leader or that like Nas does on Verbal Intercourse. That's the only thing he couldn't do.
He hadn't shown us that he could do. I think he had it in him.
Because here's the thing, man. He's starting to trend towards that. If you start listening to Life After Death, you start hearing some stuff, and even some of the word usage could change. Like, go listen to My Downfall. The verbiage is starting to get higher level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's becoming a better writer.
He's becoming, well, he was already there as a writer, but the words that the writer is using is starting to match you know what I mean?
Well, the
It's like,
thing is, man, with him, I can honestly say, man, I don't think there's anybody that got that much better from album 1 to album 2, especially when they were already really great on the first album. Like that jump from Ready to Die and Life After Death is crazy. And all the work in between, too.
I mean, I don't think anybody went from. I know people thought that he was the best, but you're right when you say that from that perspective, because it's like, well, you can't listen to Ready to Die and think that that guy's the best rapper of all time.
As crazy as it sounds,
hold on, but you can listen to Life After Death and feel that way. Be like, no, that's the best rapper I ever heard. You can feel that way after listening to Life After Death, and it's viable. And so, in terms of the jump in that regard, yeah, because I don't think there's any. Because here's the thing: Nas makes you feel that way on his first album, like,
and he ups the ante on the next one.
Right, like Big makes you feel that way on the second album. Like, this is the best rapper I ever heard on his second album, not his first.
Jevin June says, "What are your thoughts on the cult of personality and how it affects people's perception of the music?" What are your thoughts on the cult of personality and how it affects people's perception of the music?
The culture. What are your thoughts on the culture? They're gonna have to
explain that a little bit more, and we'll get to that.
They're gonna have to expound upon that for us to.
Jay Short says, "Why can't you be an artist and a rapper?" Yeah, for the people who are saying that Kendrick's an artist, not a rapper.
No, you can be an artist, but if you're in hip hop, you just need to be rapping and checking those boxes first, like I told you.
007 says, "Pac makes you feel, Big makes you move." Two different MCs. You know, also when it comes to that whole artist MC thing, you know, I think, did that start with Andre 3000? You feel? Where it was like, you know what, I don't want to rap anymore. Like, was that the first time that we saw like a MC that we all thought was a great MC that says, you know what, I'm bored with this rap shit?
Yes. Well, no, I mean, see, that was the thing. Is it's like, well, the way that some of our great MCs kind of faded on us in the early 90s was maybe the start of that, but they never said it. So Andre is probably the first rapper of that stature in terms of how he's viewed for the quality of MCing that he provides, where the people are like, you don't want to rap.
Exactly.
Huh? Yeah.
No one had ever said that. Lauren wasn't even saying that. Lauren was rapping on her album. She just happened to be a gifted singer as well, and leaned towards that, but she rapped a lot on that album.
She's rapping. She is rapping at a supreme level on the Miseducation
and on the Carnival, Wyclef solo album.
Carnival, not at a regular level, like at a top 5 Dead or Alive level.
LP says Pac was a better writer, deeper content, and relatable.
Better writer, not better songmaker, though.
Mad Max says K-Dot don't shift the culture. He makes people have conversations, but Kendrick never changed the sound of music. Illmatic shift the culture. Everybody copied it. That's kind of where I'm at, Mad Max. I'm like, okay, I think that he gets people talking like he did with the Control verse. But when did Kendrick drop, even with Good Kid, Mad City? And it's like, yo, I got to change the way I'm doing shit.
No, you're right. Hold on. How many baby Kendricks we got running around right now? Because Good Kid, Mad City.
Baby Keem.
Huh?
Baby Keem.
He's not related to.
What's the other guy from Cali? Y'all know who I'm talking about. He won that rap competition show that Cardi B, T.I., and Chance were judges on. I think his name is he's from Cali too. But yeah, he sounds a little bit like Kendrick. But yeah, you're right. There's not a lot of little Kendricks running out there. I mean, honestly, Drake might have more impact in that facet. Drake and Future.
Well, how can you say that when Drake exists because 808s exists because of Kanye?
Well, you know, Kanye got kids everywhere. I mean, I just came across a tweet from XXXTentacion where he was like, Kanye is my biggest influence.
What's that verse? 4016, when I got so many kids in the game, it's like a gender revealing. Like that's when you got impact on the culture. Like when you say stuff like that and like people say nothing about it because like it's real and like you can go check and it's verified. You get what I'm saying?
D
It's like
Smoke is the
that's what I
rapper's
mean.
name. Thank you
Yeah.
guys in the chat.
Who?
D Smoke.
Oh, D Smoke. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You want to know what? This is what I mean. I think, and I've always said this, Kendrick has been an example of when the culture was suffering and there wasn't a lot to gravitate towards in terms of quality rhetoric and album making. And so everybody gravitated towards him, which is unfair to him and unfair to yourselves as a listener, you know?
Ryan Gillum says with the super chat, LL Bigger and Deffer versus Rakim and Eric B's Paid in Full. Which one would y'all say is better? I would say Paid in Full is better.
Paid in Full.
Andre Shashir says D Smoke. Yes, yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, listen, Paid in Full. Paid in Full is one of them rare hip hop albums where you got 4 possible top 50 all time hip hop songs on one album. You got, I Know You Got Soul, Paid in Full. You got Eric B as President, and you got I Ain't No Joke.
Hold on, we're not done. You got My Melody.
My Melody would probably be, I would put that over, I Know You Got Soul. That's 5. That's 5 top 100 hip hop songs all time, right there.
I almost feel like we're missing one too. Are we missing one?
Move the Crowd's probably the one you're thinking about.
Yeah. Move the Crowd.
The album is heavy, man. The album's heavy, man.
It's like the 80s version of Doggy Style. It's like everybody was like dancing and partying to it, but he was like, you want to know what? Like, those guys had an advantage because it's like, that's when like rapping and kicking knowledge was so cool that people were dancing to it. So you could kick your knowledge and still get people to dance. So it's like those guys had a leg up, and he was the guy with the biggest leg up.
And he kind of suffered from some of the things that Nas did from Illmatic to It Was Written. He was a better rapper on Follow the Leader, but the songs just weren't bigger and better than the songs from Paid in Full. Like, I heard Rakim say that he didn't really love listening to the Paid in Full album because he sounds like he's, rapping from, sounds like he's reading off the page. Excuse me. And I don't hear that, but when he points that out, you can go back and be like, okay, yeah, he was more fluid on Follow the Leader.
I told you, I base people's intent on the mic. It's like, where's your Microphone Fiend record?
Microphone Fiend's crazy.
Something off in full. It's like, where's that record? Where I'm like, man, this guy's spit game is crazy.
Lyrics of Fury, we had never heard anything like that at that point. When you listen to Lyrics of Fury and think that this is 1988, and listen to everything that was around 88 and before 88, there's nothing like that where somebody's just on the mic spitting crazy. DeCarlo with the super chat says, I'll take Big over everyone, just like I'll take Jordan over first 3-peat over everyone. Those are peaks. You're just too great, even though it ended quickly. I understand that, and I think that's the logic of Big being top 5. I think a lot of people take that as Big is there, and you want to give him that spot that he's not able to move from because he was murdered and he's no longer here. But that's not the notion. He was just that great.
I got another notion. I know we got some chats to get to.
Yeah. I'm gonna get to him.
If you were around when Barry Sanders was playing, and you got to see him run the football, you don't care what anybody else's numbers look like. You know that guy is one of the 5 best guys to ever do it. Am I right or am I wrong?
It's an eye test thing, like I said, and I don't want to get back into the Steph shit. I don't care what the numbers say. I know what I'm seeing when I'm watching these games.
No, that's why I agree with a lot of what you're saying. It's like, no, we're talking about a guy that's been the 3rd best player on the court, while the 2nd greatest player of all time is on the court, or like the 10th or 11th greatest player of all time is on the court. You look like the 20th best player on the court because you are, and that's fine. When Big is on the mic, it's like watching Barry Sanders run the football. It's not just that you're watching somebody top 5. You're having conversations with yourself every time he picks up a ball and runs it into the end zone. Is this the best person with the ball in their hands that I have ever seen? Biggie has that effect on the mic in spades more than any MC that has ever lived when you hear his records.
Every time he came through with something, you knew something special was about to happen. I
Yes, it's like
remember
watching Barry Sanders. It's like, no. He might bust a 50-yard run on us right now. And he usually did.
Me and Coop's relationship goes all the way back to what, 2001 or 2 at Dave and Buster's?
2002,
I think.
You get hired. You got hired in 2000. No,
I got hired in 2002. So I used to come in after Georgia State or whatever. I used to come in and like some sports would still be on, like PTI would be on because they had like the TV screens at Dave and Buster's or whatever. And I remember Barry Bonds was on a home run chase or whatever. Every time that man stepped up to the plate, everybody in that whole place stopped and were looking, and you got a home run. Like something was about to happen. So when you say that, it's like those are things that going back looking at numbers can't really quantify. You know when a certain person shows up, something special is about to happen. And that's what Biggie did every time he showed up on a feature, every single he released. I mean, you could go back and, there's no way in the world anybody in hip-hop cut off after 2 albums would have the wealth of a catalog that he has. He could go do a versus with anybody right now and probably beat him.
Right now.
It's a whole people who've had 20-year careers.
Like, how about this? Like, happy birthday to Buster. All respect to Kendrick. Not beating Biggie in a versus. Neither one of you.
Mad Max with the super chat says, K-Dot is great, but they always try to make it seem like he is so above his era. I don't know one guy with a diamond plaque cut out an album with no video and went platinum with no features, but people downplay that guy. He's talking about J. Cole. Dumb It Down says, Wayne, Drake, Cole, Ye, and Griselda all have sons. This is true.
Right.
Jordan Houze with the super chat says, Kendrick has shifted discourse about rap music in recent time because his content, but rap itself was largely unaffected by his material, more so by the way he occupies the overall limelight. Darrell Baxter with the super chat says, I think people started focusing more on the concept albums or at least, a cohesive theme after Good Kid, Mad City. Think Games 1992, Draw Your Waves, Dare We Say 444. Okay.
No, that's inaccurate. Because
Uncle Fram says JID is Kendrick's son too.
That's possible.
That's very possible. I'm with that.
No, Uncle has a point with that. But
Mad Max says Ye made concept albums before K-Dot, and so did Lupe. And K-Dot didn't make them that popular. Okay.
He didn't. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Hold on. And not just
go ahead. Say what you were saying. I'm just going through here. This is a super chat show.
Like, no. Real talk. It's like people have to understand this. This is like, Aquemini is a concept album.
Mm-hmm.
Only Built for Cuban Links is a concept
album.
album.
So is ATLians.
Yeah, like there have been concept albums that have been getting made. Unfortunately, those
you know who the king of concept albums is? Prince Paul. Yeah, he's been doing it. De La Soul's been doing it.
Concept albums. I was about to say, can we say De La Soul once again?
Yeah, they created the interlude, right?
Concept album kings.
Yeah, they created the skit. Possibly created the modern day remix in hip hop. So yeah.
Yeah, all the things.
Blue Collar Hustler says, Big Stepper sounds like Lauryn Hill's Unplugged. An artist going through emotional and mental issues in real time, choosing to share through art, excuse me.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, the guitars aren't out of tune. I don't want to get on here sounding like
out of tune, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Okay, all right. Let's go to.
Hold on. For real talk, it's like you had 5 years. You didn't get a vocal coach?
Are you talking about Lauren?
Hell no, I ain't talking about Lauren. Lauren can sing her ass off on a bad
day. I thought you were talking about her on the Unplugged.
I'm talking about Kendrick. No, she's emotionally going through it on Unplugged. This nigga could have hired a vocal coach.